In the last video, a couple videos, because I haven't been keeping things up to date as I should, I may have given some of the people the wrong impression on why I'm hauling Amazon, or giving the wrong impression on Amazon based on some of the comments and the questions. So, bringing in the video, and I'm just going to kind of clear up some things that maybe are misnomers or things I've said that y'all might have taken the wrong way, and get a little bit of an explanation, but let's get another video made, tell you all about really my thoughts on how I'm dealing with Amazon. Talk to you in a minute. So that was definitely not the introduction I planned to film, but to the new subscribers, welcome in. Usual suspects, welcome back. Sometimes you just got to take your mind off the road. Let me rephrase that. Sometimes when you're driving down the road, paying sole attention to the road, look around, take in the environment, get out of your head for a second, it can be kind of cleansing. So I want to make this video because, like I said, I read every comment that's ever made and on my videos, and I like to put out information. We've talked about that in the last video. And I see a lot of the comments about Amazon and some things I've said about Amazon, so I figured I'm going to make a follow-up video about Amazon. But I need to take you to the step of how we got to Amazon and some of the issues that I've had, or maybe some things, just information about it as well, kind of my take on it after 90 days. So that's kind of where we're going to go. But my guys been here a while know, to get to that story, I got to tell you this story, because this will also tie into our next video that we've got coming up. But I've said this before, and in going through life, there are basically two types of games. There's the finite game, and there's the infinite game. And because y'all know I love my metaphors and my sports analogies, baseball is the perfect analogy for a finite game. On Friday, they're going to play the World Series, and it is going to be the Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Toronto Blue Jays. We know who's playing. We know the teams. We know where times they're going to play. We know where they're going to play. We know the rules of the game. We know how the game ends. It ends after 9 innings. There's 3 outs in every inning. They don't get to magically go, hey, we're going to give you 4 outs this inning, unless the umpire screws up. At the end of the game, a team will win. The team that is losing at the end of 9 innings doesn't get to go, hey, let us play 2 more innings. We think we can come back. That's not how finite games work. And at the end, someone is crowned the champion. They are the best. They won. Game over. Everybody goes home. In the game of life, or as in the game of business, it is an infinite game. It was here before you. It will be here after you. You don't know who all the competitors are. The rules, thank you FMCSA, can change at any time. And the whole point is not to win the game of business. The whole point is to stay in business. So with baseball, you play to win the game.
This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
In business, you're playing to stay in business. That's the whole point. That's what, little aside for you, if you ever see somebody and they're in business and they say they're the best in the business, you have my permission to laugh at them. Because how can they be the best in business if I didn't agree to the rules to make you the best? What numbers, what's this? You cannot be the best in business. You can either be in business or out of business. There are people we can say that are successful, but that's not winning. Because as quick as you be successful, you can go out. So to explain all of that, because I've been in business for 2.5 years, and the last 1.5 years has been power only. And up until this summer, everything was going fantastically. Everything was amazing. And then all of a sudden, to me, maybe you guys saw this, maybe it was time I took off, the market shifted. The market's been terrible. We're not kidding ourselves. They keep saying next quarter. The market's terrible. We all know that. I see it in the comments. You guys know that. But power only went off a cliff. I was going to places where there would be, now you get on the DAT load board and it says there's 4,000 loads. Realistically, when I was in good markets, there'd be 15, 20 loads I had to have my pick from. I was going places and there was 1 load, and that would be it of what I would normally go. Go to Indianapolis, where you got Great Danes close by, Wabash is there, there's some utility trailers there. I could usually find a trailer out of there, especially out of Wabash. Nothing. There 1 load, and it was a pup trailer from Great Dane going to California for $1.20 a mile. That's it. And that's been every time I've gone there. I've checked with my contacts in the area. Nothing. You know, everybody knows I like Southwestern Virginia. You know, you got Glade Springs and you got Atkins right there, all those brand new utility trailers. And just nothing. Or one change I will say, the one broker made a nice change, not rephrase it, the one company or whatever it is with utility, where I have what's called trailer interchange. That's so I can haul other people's trailers. I don't have to have specific insurance per trailer. And I carry 65,000. Now, Amazon, I think, is 30 or 40, TQL's 30, 40 sometimes. But I knew when getting to the brand new trailers, I wanted 60, and that was plenty, so I had 65. Well, those rates were over $2 a mile when I was hauling those trailers. The rates have now come down to $1.70 a mile when you do see them. Oh yeah, and now they want, because everything's more expensive, they want 90,000 in trailer interchange. So you want me to pay more for insurance to haul the freight for less. Stacked trailers, they're still out there. They used to be $2.15, $2.25, $2.05, $2 a mile, $1.60, $1.70 for the same load. And it's like, we'll get there, but I can do stacked and get horrible fuel economy and throw straps on flatbeds for $1.70 drop and hook, or I can do Amazon for $1.90 drop and hook. While I want to go mess with flatbeds and get bad fuel economy, right? But I'm going through that this summer, and it's like, I have got to stay in business. I've 6.5 years, 6 years. I still get excited every time I turn the key. I'm sorry, I'm weird. I was made to do this. But I had read an article on Freight Waves, and I think they're a little clickbaity sometimes with their titles, but it's like, you know what? I got to have an answer. So I was reading an article, and it's talking about dedicated freight, and you guys in the comments have said, hey, have you tried Amazon? Because JB Hunt, for me, is too hard because their trailer thing is weird. They'll send you 200 miles for an empty trailer, and it's live loads and bumping docks, and the same thing. And so Warner PowerLink, there's Uber Freight, which I'm signed up with, and they've got kind of it's a different type of loadout trailer situation. I may go into that. I've never done it, so I don't really know what to talk about. But you guys have mentioned Amazon numerous times. I was like, you know what? Since I just went through later video, the insurance change, I now have all of the insurance that Amazon requires. They require special insurance in case you hit a dock worker, which most of us don't carry. I forget what it's called, but their coverages are higher. I got them. They were included with my new policy. I didn't really pay extra for them. I was like, okay, so let's deal with Amazon. And so when I'm talking about Amazon here, by the way, I've done this for about 90 days. Some of the things that I may get to later in the video as points that I don't like. That could be because I don't know. Okay, so we'll get there. There's no trashing. This is just information for you guys. Do what you want with it, right? So I got signed up with Amazon. And let's go over the pros. And it's a pretty long list, okay? I don't know if you've ever been to an Amazon warehouse, but they are nice. They are clean. I'll take photos of the inside, but automated. Everything it's a well-ish, when I see, a well-oiled machine. Like I said, I pull up to the gate, and 9 times out of 10, I don't even have to talk to a person. It scans my license plate. It sends it to space. It comes back on a little screen and says, pick up at this place, and it pops up on my app, parking spot 706. I go to 706, I hook up, I go out the gate, it scans the license plate, gate goes up, have a nice day. The technology, the app is actually, except it went down yesterday, you make these videos. The app is fantastic as far as getting information, submitting docs, checking in, checking out. It's super simple. The technology of these places is fantastic. The availability of loads, I've talked about it, is fantastic. And all the ones I'm doing are drop and hooks. Drop and hook, drop and hook. Pull and hook it, take it where you're going, drop it. I've dropped some as early as 13 hours early. Gate goes up, put it in that spot, you move on with your life. It is amazing as far as the number of loads. That's why you see so many Amazon trailers everywhere. The people are nice. The people inside, the yard dock. I've not run into a mean person that worked for Amazon. I've run into some jerks that for third parties, but within Amazon, it's great. Their pay, they pay within a week. Most of the time, they pay Wednesday and Friday. So pay is phenomenal. I mean, if you look at with my factor, they're an A. If you don't factor and you just go straight through them, super simple. You will get paid by Amazon. Kind of. Again, a lot of this sets up for later in the video, right? But so from that standpoint, the trailers. I have had, the one trailer issue I had was somebody ripped the gear handle off and they loaded a trailer. Yes, I've had tire issues. You're going to have those, but that's on them to fix. But the trailers are nice. They're clean. They pull easy. All the tandems have slid. Like I said, I don't have to deal with doors most of the time because they're already closed with a seal on them. So the equipment is nice. Everything about the operation itself is nice. Now we come into the other part of it. And I've seen an email on this, and I'm on some Facebook groups, and here's some things I will say about Amazon. Because everything is so automated, it is almost impossible when you need it to get a hold of a person. If you look at a load and load board, got a question, there's no answers. If you're having an issue, you got to go through 47 app screens to try and get a call back from the ROC, Remote Operations Center. We'll get there. It is very, all of my learning that I've learned from Amazon has been off YouTube, or they have videos. I spoke to a person one time, and I've been hauling for him for 9 months as far as setup, and that was just the initial, are you a real person? Besides holding my phone and scanning myself every time I pick up a load, which is always fun. So the communication can be very, very brittle with them. Two, and this will probably go into some subsections, is rates. Starting rate on Amazon load is $1.25. I don't see anything typically less than $1.25. That tends to be where they start everything at $1.25, and it's like, that's terrible. But, and this is my opinion, and this is what I think I know, correct me if I'm wrong, their rates are run off AI. They know how many people are looking at their load board. They know how many people are in the location. They can see their load board traffic. They know that the load doesn't leave for 14 hours. So I'll put it at $1.25, and it'll sit there, and it might be 8 hours, and I don't know the whole algorithm, and 6 hours, and I've seen loads that were $1.25 that were $2.75 when they went, but they had to be picked up within 30 minutes because they were bad loads, or I've seen where like, oh, I'd do that load, but I can't get there. So you get a lot of that where that's like having a warehouse and saying, hey, let's hire some people. There are a ton of people looking. We'll pay them $10 an hour to work tomorrow. And then, oh, we're really busy on Wednesday and we don't have a lot of people. We'll pay $20 an hour. They adjust on the sliding scale. And as I've said, to get a scorecard, you have to have 10 loads. Those 10 loads are going to suck. They just are. Nature of the beast. Second, on pay. And this is another one that's weird. This is a new phenomenon that I have run into, and I hear about it all the time. It's just started for me recently, and that's canceled loads. If I have booked a load, gone to bed, woke up to find my load canceled.
You just got jammed.
More than once. And if you're not checked in for a load, you're not getting paid. I found a load. I was in Tulsa. I couldn't find a load. There was a load in Oklahoma City. It's not that far. I go to bed, I wake up, I have my load, I drive towards Oklahoma City, I get 15 minutes out from my load, canceled. I'm not paid a dime for that. If they cancel it, if they screw your schedule, they do not care. Secondly, and this is a new one for me, their rates are adjustable. Explain in the comments if I'm wrong. I had a load out of North Carolina. I had to go from North Carolina to Ocala, Florida to drop the load, pick up an empty in Ocala, and take it up to Jacksonville. $2.02 per mile. This is awesome. I get in North Carolina. I get down to Ocala. This is a new Amazon. It's like being built. There's nothing there. I don't know. I'm bringing stuff for them to set it up, right? Drop my trailer. They say your empty trailer is at this location. Go pick it up on the app. I'm not talking to a person here. Roll around, pick up that trailer, go in the back, and the trailer is still loaded.
You just got jammed.
Put in my request, got an issue with my load. Now you got to remember, I've delivered early. It's 8 o'clock. My load's not supposed to leave till 11:15. I say, hey, this trailer's loaded. Oh, no, we show it's empty. Well, my eyeballs show it's loaded. Okay, well, then you're going to have to, and this happened to me before, you have to sit there till your scheduled time of departure. So it's 8:30 in the morning, driven all night. I have to sit there till 11:15 to call them back and say, hey, this trailer's loaded. And they go, okay, well, then we'll just cancel that half of the load. Have a good day. Thank you. All right, cool. Thank you. And get in my app, and they paid me $1.30 per mile for that load. And when you book a load at Amazon, it says the rate is subject to change if they add or remove stops. I lost money on that run. So wasn't really happy about that. But you can do it. And so people say, why am I doing Amazon? I'm doing Amazon because I need to stay in business. Am I making money? Yes, you can make money. You just have to run. Like I said, that was when I ran 27 straight days picking them up and putting them down. That's because there were so many loads. And those loads range from $1.40 a mile to $2.70 a mile, without rhyme or reason. I found a nice little pattern, keep that on the inside, that I was running for them. And I wish I could do shorter runs. I've learned that long runs with Amazon do not pay. Short runs pay, but it can be kind of hard because, you do a short run and you get there and then your load cancels and can really screw it. So what I've really been trying to focus on is those 500-600 mile loads. However, I just did one again. You don't want to complain because I just did one that was 380 miles for $2.89 a mile. I had a very simple day. Helps me control my hours. So Amazon is not the end. Amazon is not the goal. Amazon is a stopgap so I can figure it out, because getting canceled on, rates, some of those things, it's not all pie in the sky. It's not, this is just the greatest thing ever. I just try and be a positive person. So I think I made this video long enough. I'm sure I skipped a few things about Amazon. We'll touch on them in follow-up videos. But I appreciate you. God bless, and let's get rolling.